Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Adrenaline Seek Outdoors. Today we're going to talk about why stabilizers are important, why I'm running or switching to what I'm going to be switching to, and just kind of stuff like that. So first, new stabilizers, SHREWD, Vantage stabilizers, they're hunting stabilizers. There's a 9-inch, 12-inch, and then SHREWD V-bar mount. In years past, I had ran and had great success with just, these are actually Sunya Sports stabilizers. I believe it's an 8 and a 10, or maybe a 10 and a 12. I think it's a 10 and 12. Not 100% sure, can't remember. But it's just a kit. And if you're ever, thinking, okay, do I want front and back stabilizers? You're not sure. You just want to try it out. Not sure if it's for you. This is probably the best deal you can get to be able to get a front and back bar and a V-bar mount that is still very good quality for the best price. It's just kind of the truth about that. But I've ran this for 2 years, and they are awesome, and haven't really had any complaints. When I built this one, I knew I was getting new bars, so that's the reason I didn't ever even put this back bar mount on when I built this bow up. So let's just, I guess, start. While I'm opening these, I'll kind of talk about why, stabilizers are important and what they exactly do. So stabilizers, some people say that the front and back bar combo is a little bulky. In a tree stand, it kind of can be, but you do get used to it. And the reason, it's super important and what they do exactly is actually they are making your bow heavier, which, kind of sucks, I guess. But at the same time, they are actually putting weight on your bow where you want it. So overall, you hear a lot of people talk about why you want a bow light. They're talking about this main rig, or what I would consider just the bow, because you want to be able to overall have a light bow, or I do an overall light bow, just like this new one, Obsession Bone FX. Overall, you do want to have that light bow, but now it is also giving you the ability to put weight where you want it and where it matters, which is what stabilizers do. So without a stabilizer, obviously, you're going to be having a bow like this. And form, it is best to practice your form and learn your shot and everything, maybe with a little one, not a front and back bar combo. But once you have mastered that and, ready to add the front and back bar actually stabilizes it out and actually will kind of hide some of those imperfections and mistakes. But you will see a lot of, success from them, because like I said, it really stabilizes the bow. I mean, it makes a giant difference. If your bow is super light, like I said, you're adding weight where you want it. And you want this weight to be as far away from the actual bow itself. You want it to be as far away from the bow itself and more on your bars, which is the reason I am kind of switching. So those old bars, are actually, just from filling these right through here, is going to be a little heavier. It's a little thicker, and it's kind of heavy. So not all your weight is out here on the end, which is kind of what the bars are meant for, is to allow you to get your weight as far out as possible, which in return stabilizes the bow and gives you the most steady hold. So that is one thing, just picking these up. They're very light through here. You can just tell that all your weight's here. Also look really good. So let's throw these on here. Just a sec. kind of go through how to, I guess, set these up. Where is the screw for this bad boy? All right, so first we're just gonna throw this back bar mount on here. And you technically could throw this up front, and you probably have seen some people do that. I prefer it down lower and in the back. So the lower your weight is on the bottom of that bow, it's gonna allow for less torque, which is what you're wanting. This mount right here, you want to kind of crank on. You do not want it to come loose. It's more than likely the Allen that it takes, you're not just going to have in field where you're ready to go and ready to use it. Well, as you can see, I'm kind of running through Allens here to even find one. So you want this to be pretty level, obviously, and then kind of push down on one side and really crank down on the other here. This one, so I'll put the 12 up front. You're just going I just screw it in there. You can get a quick disconnect for it. Some people like it to be an 8-degree down. You're just running straight on. I will during season, like turkey season or anytime I'm going to hunt, I will be throwing my Mag Pro on there from Painted Arrow. So and then this is just a quick disconnect. These things are super handy for your back bars. Then you just throw that in there and voila, there's that. It is a little close, as you can see, to there, so we'll break this Allen over here off. Loose. Nope, wrong one. Which one? It's on the bottom here. I cannot be able to get to that with what we got. We're going to have to actually break this off and break this loose here. So when setting them up for angles and what angle do you want, honestly, it really matters how much weight you're going to have over here. This dial's super light, QAD, pretty small, not too bad. And then I'll have that tight spot, which really sucks up to the bow. So I don't like just a huge angle over here. Just kind of what I prefer. And I would say, which this one has degrees on it, I guess I can kind of tell you where I would technically have it. Probably going to be anywhere from 3 at the most 4 degrees of where I would run it. Probably going to be closer to that 3-degree mark. It's just kind of what I prefer, and so tighten that back up. Oh, helps when you go the right way. That nice and snug. Which it is a little in further still. Like I said, really crank this down once you get it to where you want it. I think I'm gonna need a washer for that. Okay, so that's kind of how I have them set up. As you can see, will be like that. And then just another reason, like I said, you want the weight where you want it. So the more weight you have over here will also affect how much weight you want over here. And then the angle of up and down, actually you can come to full draw and hold, and if your pin float is left to right, you're actually going to play with this angle a little bit and how much weight is back here. If you feel like your pin float is more up and down, that's actually how much weight you're going to add more weight up here to kill that. That's how that is. So I guess how to set these up, why they're kind of important. Like I said, they are meant to be fairly light right here and put your weight out in front. That's the reason you see target archers run these big old long stabilizers, is to keep that weight as far out there as possible, which allows them to stay super, super steady. That's just how stabilizers work. So I will say you'll notice a big difference when shooting in the wind and stuff. These are bulky and they may catch a little more wind, but you're way more steadier than you would ever be with a light bow. It's just how it is. So, you know, I guess this is kind of the new rig and stabilizers. The kind of reason why to run them. The difference between, you know, light or a little more expensive ones and cheaper ones. I mean, like I said, these will do everything you ever need them to. But I will say there is, just from having these, you know, and taking them out of the box, there is a pretty big difference. These are a lot more heavier, and the weight on these is here and allows you to pick and choose where you want them. These also have a little bit more cleaner look. So that is kind of, I guess, why to run stabilizers, kind of what they do, how to kind of set them up, and, you know, everything of that nature. Like I said, you can play with this angle here. I'm going to have to get a washer. This doesn't want to tighten up all the way. So you can also play with this down angle here, which it's fairly low, so I won't play with that much. But that is kind of the new stabilizer setup, a SHREWD Vantage Series bar, a 12 and a 9 back bar mount there, and kind of the reason why to run them and everything. So if you like it, please be sure to comment and like, subscribe. We need all the support we can get, and we will keep pumping out the content. So pretty stoked to have these and get shooting with them. The new Obsession Bone FX is shooting really well, so been a fun one to shoot. Until next time, guys, everybody, keep seeking.